What's going on? What's going on? What's happening, everybody? This your boy Isaac of the Under No Conditions podcast. Tiana White, she is out on assignment taking care of some business. Hopefully, she'll be with us soon. If not, she'll most definitely check in with us next week. How was your week? How you feeling? Do you feel stressed? Or you feel overworked? Do you feel like the little things is just overwhelming? For today, we're going to talk about something that a lot of us suffer with, even myself, right? It's called quiet burnout. How about that? Quiet burnout. And I want you to think about that for a second because many adults, like myself, it's not something that's loud, right? Not everybody that's burned out looks broken. They have the same facial expressions, they look the same every day. They come in and they continue to do the job over and over again, right? We're getting up, we're paying these bills, we're taking care of these kids, right? We just think it's just part of that system that we've become so accustomed to. That old saying, I got to continue to do what I got to do. And it becomes so common and it becomes so comfortable that we feel like that's really the right thing to do most of the time. Just look, regardless of how I feel, I'm going to do what I got to do and I figure out the rest later. But sometimes later don't come. Later often doesn't come. And when it comes in the form of being emotionally tired, mentally tired, and spiritually tired. Like, have you had them moments where everything was just overbearing? You had a long day of work, brain fog done kicked in, and you just sometimes feel like you just can't get connect. You can't disconnect, not just connect, but disconnect. Oh, we're gonna talk about connection too, because most of the time in quiet burnout, we often disconnect from our families and we connect to the thing that we think that's gonna make us feel good. Today is social media. Unfortunately, a lot of times that's not even uh, a really healthy thing to do because emotionally we still in that same place. So it's like, yes, we are at this place of exhaustion, right? But burnout, once again, it looks different for everybody, right? Irritability. Once again, I'm going back to that because these are things that we can identify with. Sometimes we get short tempered, right? Oftentimes we got it feels like brain fog, like I said earlier, because a lot of times I'm tired. If I get some rest, I'll be okay. If I take a hot shower, I'll be okay. If I decide I want to get something to eat, maybe I need to put something on my stomach. I haven't eaten all day. I'm gonna be okay. But you know what? We're never okay because quiet burnout looks familiar with everything that we attach and everything that we do in our life. And that's the dangerous part of it, right? We continue and we start developing that emotional distance, not from our kids, from our partner, and we constantly are not disconnecting from the work aspect. Think about this. How many people bring their work home? How many people are connected to the work um, email? So every time they phone go off, they picking it up and they seeing what's going on. They they so they so connected to the burnout that it feels normal. Now they're home, they're reading work emails, right? They're reading responses from the work emails. Now they're home. They're supposed to be at a place of serenity. Now they're stressed before they even get back to work. Now you can't sleep. You're thinking about the email. You're trying to figure out, does it apply to you? You're worrying about what's going on. All these things are what we call quiet burnout. And it happens And because we become so comfortable in it, and many times we don't even acknowledge it. That's the thing. We acknowledge it through, once again, by saying, I'm tired, I'm irritable, I'm not getting enough rest, I can't sleep, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can identify with all of these. And understandably, we got to put the work in emotionally, mentally, and socially, right? And to develop some patience. But once again, like I said, it pops up in emotional distance, low patience, the smallest task feels like it's too much, right? And the dangerous thing about quiet burnout, it keeps us in survival mode. Survival mode is something that oftentimes we become so comfortable in it, we don't even know we're surviving. We think surviving is living, and living is just a thing. And many times that's not true. Most of us, we get up and we have developed, based on these different belief systems, that it will get better and it's going to get better. But quiet burnout, once again, that's what makes it so dangerous, because it's quiet and it keeps us in what we call emotional survival mode. And what happens is, many times, once again, I'm gonna go back to distancing, right, from my kids, from my family. I stay connected to my work, and I don't allow myself to disconnect from all the things that I'm currently surviving in, and learning how to sit with myself, process my day, process the information, and get through that process so I can refresh or rebound for the next day. So oftentimes, burnout, quiet burnout, carries on from day to day. I know you guys can identify with this. It's Monday. You can't wait till Friday. And your day haven't even began. Unfortunately, you already thinking about the 2 days that you have off, hoping somewhere in between there you're gonna get you some rest. But for me, and I know a lot of you guys can agree, having that email connected to your phone, and every time that email goes off and you begin to experience all these outbound emails, even if they do not specifically is catered or geared towards you, once again, you are denying yourself an opportunity to disconnect. And even if the emails are not connected to you, after you read 10 or 15 responses, 30 or 40 outbound and going responses, guess what? You are already thinking about the next day and what you may have to prepare for before you even get there. I'm going to tell you, for me personally, I do not connect my email, my job email, to my personal phone. That's one thing I pride myself on. I understand the severity of quiet burnout because I've been there. And quiet burnout doesn't always have to be connected to your employment. Let's talk about the part where you feel like you need to be there for everybody else. And it's not about nobody being there for you. Unfortunately, you feel like that if you're not there for everybody else, you begin to feel like you haven't done your part. And sometimes you feel like you haven't done enough. Or you begin to worry about, if I don't, what they're going to think about me or how they can perceive me moving forward. That's quiet burnout. In this process, we got to remember one thing. You have to take care of yourself first. You have to learn how to disconnect and reconnect. And you have to learn how to do it physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Whether you have to do it through prayer, maybe through meditation, or just sitting still and getting out of yourself. For me, really just coming home and just sitting still. Sometimes, no TV, no phone, no anything. Just allowing myself to disconnect from my day. Because many of us, we work high stress jobs and they're very demanding. And unfortunately, for some of us, we are in jobs or we in positions that we don't even like. However, because the money allows us to live a certain lifestyle and to take care of ourselves, we emotionally sacrifice that pain. Because what happens, it becomes, once again, it becomes pain and it becomes frustration. And after a period of time, we find ourselves asking ourselves, how did we get here? And I'm going to tell you another thing that will burn you out. And many people don't talk about this: being a good employee, being the best employee. I learned about 10 or 15 years ago. I learned this from a doctor. I never forget it. I was doing mental health and I wanted to be the best employee that I could be. But what I found out in that process, because we're also talking about, you know, quiet burnout and sometimes wanting to be that perfect person, wanting to be the person that is recognized in everything that you do. You quietly burn out because it's emotionally and mentally taxing. But getting back to the story, I had a doctor tell me, and he was honest with me. He said, Isaac, you're going to be good. You're not going to be perfect. However, you're going to be good. He said, you're going to stay in this field. You're going to need to be careful. He said, I'm going to tell you what happens to good employees, employees that are good and employees that are work well. You know what happens? They not only have to do their work, they're going to have to pick up some of the other people work also. And he also told me that the people's work that you're going to have to pick up, you're going to find out and see that the people that's lacking, there's not going to be no consequences. Because in the work that we do, it's really just about getting it done. And many organizations and companies really don't care how it gets done, as long as it gets done. So it's a lot of things that we have to factor in our own emotional wealth. However, quiet burnout exists. It's a real thing. And I want you to guys to consider and ask yourself this question. After my 8 hour shift or my 7.5 hour shift or my 7 hour, right? What do I need to put in place for me personally to disconnect? Because I'm struggling with disconnection. And like many of us, we take our work home. Guess who else get affected? Our kids, our spouses, our partners, our dogs, our pets, everything. And then we really don't understand why our life or why this unhealthy emotional roller coaster, I'm still feeling like I'm on a hamster wheel. Because deep down inside, you're quietly burning out and you mistaking it for just being tired, not getting enough sleep. All those are contributing factors. Or I'm working too hard, or I need to do better. All those things are contributing factors. So I want you guys to start loving yourself, take care of yourself. Do the thing that you know you need to do for yourself, even if you have to sit in your car for 5 minutes after you get off work. Just turn the car on, put your phone away. Don't turn no music on, and give yourself an opportunity to decompress. And with that, I want to thank you guys for joining me. Myself, Tiana White of the Under No Conditions podcast. Anybody didn't tell you guys they love you today, I most definitely love you. Keep those emails coming at uncpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, Under No Conditions Podcast. We are on YouTube under the iMedia Network, Under No Conditions Podcast. For myself again, take care of yourself. Love yourself. You deserve it. I want to thank you and I love you. Peace.